All right, everybody, buckle up because this episode might feel a little uncomfortable, but I promise that it is coming from a place of absolute respect. Because sometimes the reason your business is stuck isn't the algorithm, it isn't the marketing strategy, it isn't your industry, it's you. And that's me calling myself out sometimes too. And so before you click away or change the episode, this is not criticism, this is clarity. And if you were listening to last week's episode, clarity is extremely important in everything that you do when you are running a business or on a marketing team supporting another business. So let me say this clearly, if hopefully you stayed long enough to get past that intro. If you're capable, experienced, and visible, and things still feel stalled, it's rarely because you don't know how to grow. It's usually because there's a decision that you haven't made yet. And that could be you're nervous, you're scared, you're not sure what step to make. Maybe you're confused. It's not because you're lazy, not because you're failing. It's because leadership requires choosing, and that's a hard hat to wear most of the time. And again, that's myself included, that I sometimes struggle with choosing to open doors because that means closing doors or windows or taking a whole nother path that I never really saw coming or thought I would be going down, which is honestly how this podcast got started in the first place. So this is the tension, that type of indecisiveness that I see constantly. Founders will tell me, I'm doing everything. I'm working nonstop. I already can raise my hand to that one most of the time. I'm thinking about my business all the time. And yet nothing is shifting. That's not a work ethic problem. It is clear that you love rolling up your sleeves and doing what needs to get done. It's a decision fatigue issue. When too many options stay open, your momentum is quietly, or sometimes not so quietly, going to die. Here's a reframe that changes how you see this. Being stuck isn't about capability. It's about avoidance disguised as productivity. I will use a non-Pinterest specific example. I will clean my entire house, top to bottom, side to side, everywhere, before I touch the dishes in my sink. I am extremely productive in getting the rest of my house clean, but those dishes are still not getting done. I am choosing something else, even though I am clearly capable of doing the dishes. So tweaking instead of choosing, researching instead of committing, revisiting instead of deciding. That's what this looks like when we are avoiding something and disguise it as productivity. Most businesses don't stall because the founder isn't smart enough. They stall because the founder is trying to keep every option alive instead of just making a choice. So, with that thought process, let's name a few common patterns, but we're going to do this gently. So, again, this is not criticism, this is just an uncomfortable conversation that we need to have. This could be waiting for more clarity before acting, refining instead of releasing, keeping offers vague for flexibility. And I will say, I am guilty of that one specifically. Letting marketing feel heavy because direction is unclear. None of these are necessary mistakes. They're coping strategies, but they keep your business in that limbo of growing, scaling, staying stagnant. So this is where marketing comes in. Marketing can feel draining when it's trying to compensate for indecisiveness. When you're unclear, your marketing becomes louder. When you're unsure, marketing becomes performative. When you haven't chosen direction, visibility feels exhausting. Pinterest actually reveals this beautifully because it doesn't reward constant output. It rewards clear positioning over time, which means when your marketing feels heavy, it's often pointing back to leadership, not a specific strategy. So here's the shift based on that I want you to consider. Your marketing shouldn't require daily decisions. It should hold decisions you've already made. When direction is clear, visibility becomes lighter. Marketing becomes supportive. momentum becomes steady, a steady incline, which we want to see when we're growing and building revenue. And it's not because you're doing more, but because you're no longer negotiating with yourself on what to do next. This episode is not meant to fix everything going on in your business. It's about self-leadership. Leadership is the willingness to say, this is the direction, this is enough, this is what we're building next. Growth doesn't come from confidence, it comes from ownership of the next decision and the next task to get done. So I want to leave you with this question this week. So take a moment to let it sink in and resonate and really be honest with yourself. Where are you keeping your business stuck by refusing to choose? And what would change if you did make a choice? There's no judgment here, just awareness of what you are avoiding and what you can do to move the needle forward in a positive way. If this episode stirred something, I hope that means it's a good sign. It usually does for me when I take those closer looks. But if you want clarity on where indecision is leaking into your visibility, the Veil Visibility Audit exists for this exact reason. It is designed to show you what's working, what's just noise, and what decision actually matters next. And if your marketing feels heavy because you're overthinking the execution of it, the Style Pin Collection helps your visibility run on clarity instead of a constant output, a constant choice you have to make. Either way, this, I promise, isn't about pushing harder. It's about choosing and then letting your business move again. I'll see you in the next episode.